If you're doing weight training to improve your speed, then you're on the right track. But while you're on that track, you must avoid these 5 mistakes if you want maximum results without wasting time. We'll look at those 5 common mistakes, but before that, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss videos like this. The first mistake is overemphasis on hypertrophy. Hypertrophy workouts are focused on muscle building. Doing these workouts often can cause your type 2B muscle fibers to convert into type 2A muscle fibers. And for a sprinter, type 2B muscle fibers are more important because they are better at producing force quickly. Now, you may have seen in many of my videos that I do recommend hypertrophy workouts. So yes, you can do hypertrophy workouts, but only occasionally. Not every athlete needs them. You should only do hypertrophy workouts if your BMI is below 20. And even if your BMI is between 20 and 22, you can still do them, but only in the off season. Apart from that, you shouldn't do them. Another situation where you can do them is when you've taken a break of around 5 months. If you haven't trained for a long time, for whatever reason, and your body needs some stimulus again, then yes, you can go for hypertrophy workouts once. But even in that case, don't do it for too long, 2 to 3 weeks maximum. Now, how will you know if you're doing a hypertrophy workout? If you're doing 8 to 15 reps in most exercises at the gym and 3 to 4 sets with short rest periods between sets, like 30 to 90 seconds, then you're training for hypertrophy. To increase speed, we need to focus more on developing strength and power rather than just muscle building. Yes, muscle building is one of the factors for strength and power. And how strong or powerful an athlete is depends to some extent on their muscles. But our entire focus shouldn't just be on building muscles. The second common mistake is not training for power. Now, how do we train for power? You don't need to lift extremely heavy weights. Use about striking and saw 70 to 80% of your max weight, but try to lift it as fast as possible. Just lifting heavy won't improve your speed. When you try to lift that weight with speed, that's what helps you become faster. To improve power, you can do exercises like quarter squats, trap bar jumps, cleanse, snatches, push presses, hip thrusts, and many more. And you can also convert any strength exercise into a power movement. For example, bench press is a strength exercise, but if you use 70 to 80% of your max weight and do just 2 to 3 reps explosively, then it can also help develop power. The third common mistake is not applying progressive overload. Progressive overload means improving every session compared to your previous one. There are different ways to do this. For example, if you did 3 reps of squats, 100 kilograms this week, then next week you can either increase the weight to 105 or 110 kilograms and still do 3 reps. So that's progressive overload. Or lift 100 kilograms again, but do 4 or 5 reps. That's also valid. Or keep the weight and reps the same, 3 reps with 100 kilograms, but next week come up faster from the bottom. Maybe this week you struggled to come up and moved slowly, but if next week you move faster, that's also progressive overload. It could be that you took pre-workout or coffee before today's workout. Next week, try to reduce the stimulant or train without it and still lift the same weight for the same reps. That's also progress. You could also try to go deeper in your squat next time. Maybe this time you didn't go all the way down, so that's another way to progress. The point is, each week you should try to perform better than the last, because if you don't improve, someone else will. Someone else will raise their performance. We have limited time to play sports, so every session each week should be done with the mindset that we need to improve and get closer to our goal, and that will only happen if you apply progressive overload. Now, in progressive overload, try to leave increasing volume for the end, meaning increasing reps should be your last resort. Don't keep adding reps every week, like 3 reps this week, 4 the next, then 5, 6, 7. That's not the way. 1 or 2 reps, sure, but not constant. What you can do for the week is this week you did 3, next week you did 4, then 5. But once you've done 5, then you need to come back to 3. And with 3, you need to increase the weight. You should try not to increase the reps too much. Stay in the lower rep range. Generally, you shouldn't go above 5 reps because with lower reps, you can build strength faster. The fourth very common mistake is not taking rest. And this mistake is mostly made by beginner athletes, meaning they complete one set of an exercise and then don't rest at all. They immediately start the next set. This is something you shouldn't do. Generally, you should take 2 to 5 minutes of rest if you're training for strength or power. You can even take more than that, but not less, because if you rest less than that, your body won't be fully recovered, and as a result, you won't be able to put in as much intensity in the next set. A lot of athletes may give this logic that if we take less rest, our body will get more fatigued, and if we train more while being fatigued, that will be good for us, but that won't work. While doing weight training, you can take proper, relaxed rest. In fact, the better quality rest you take, the more you'll be able to push in the next set. Generally, if your goal is to increase your speed, then after the weight training session, you shouldn't feel destroyed. You shouldn't feel like, I'm so tired today, I'm finished. You should feel more powerful. You should feel like, yes, now I have more energy in my body. Now I feel stronger. Some workout types can be acceptance to this. Now, after this, the fifth most common mistake is wrong exercise selection. While doing weight training, we sometimes pick the wrong goals. Based on the different goals of different athletes, exercises will also change. Here are some examples of movement. If your goal is to develop upper body strength so that your arm action becomes powerful, then instead of doing normal shrugs, a better option would be trap bar shrugs. For biceps, using a rod is better, and for strengthening the triceps, instead of tricep pushdowns, it would be better to do bar dips. So here you can see we should choose movements that are related to our goal. Apart from this, if you are in your speed season, then during that time, you shouldn't focus too much on exercises like leg extension or leg curl. Even though these two muscles are part of the legs and important for us, if our main goal is to improve speed and our competition is in season, then at that time, these things won't help much because sprinting is hip dominant, and the main goal of our quads in that is to stabilize the legs. During speed season, we anyway have to train with low volume, and in that low volume, if you fill it with these kinds of exercises, then there won't be space left for the main exercises. Also during sprinting, our hamstrings' eccentric strength is used, but these exercises develop the concentric strength of our hamstrings. So even during speed season, these exercises won't help much. Now, if your main goal is to improve strength, then for that, you shouldn't focus too much on isolation exercises. Instead, you should properly focus on compound exercises. When we go to the gym, we can do different types of training. Weight training is not just one type, it includes different types of training. For example, you can do hypertrophy training, strength training, high intensity interval training. One type of training has the goal of building muscles, while another type of training helps burn fat. If you are overweight, this training will make you leaner. This type of training will improve your neuromuscular coordination, and all these things will eventually help in improving speed. But we should know what our goal is. Based on that goal, we should select the exercises. And if you're an athlete, then you must develop this skill. You should be able to understand which exercise we are doing and why. What benefit will it give? And this is one major difference between an elite athlete and a beginner athlete. Beginner athletes don't know why we are doing something or what it does, but elite athletes understand these things very well. You should have a clear logic for what benefit an exercise gives and how it helps. You don't want to go with a DESI logic like, doing this will increase speed, doing that will give power. Don't use these types of basic terms, even if those things do work.